Yo, what up? Oh, what's up, man? How you doing? Yo, you guys wanna go take pictures?
What?
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, for sure. Wait, hold up. Let me just. Alright, hey, just go ahead, start the car already, right? I'll be right there. Just give me a second. Isn't it insane how good these have gotten in the last couple of years? I mean, look at this. 3 cameras, some even have 4, and this tiny body that you carry with you everywhere you go anyways. Like, why would you ever need something like this, right? Like, this is a small lens. Why would you get something like this, or even bigger, if you have 3 of those in here? So that is exactly what this video is about, because I want to go over what it is like to operate a camera versus a phone, right? Because a couple of months ago, I think like 5 months, almost half a year now, it's crazy, I've got myself a camera to upgrade. But what does it entail really? Because when I got into cameras, there was a lot of things that I didn't think about and that I've gotten to know and had to learn on the way, on the fly. So many settings, so many things. So depending who you are, I want to make this video for you to figure out if getting a camera is something that you should consider, because there's nothing wrong with using a phone. So what we're going to do today is me and my buddy Hillmann are going to go out and about. I'm going to be on my phone and Hillmann is going to be on this camera. There's definitely a lot of upsides with this camera. This is also the reason why I myself got one, right? Because otherwise, obviously, I wouldn't have done it. But is it worth it for you? Stick around to find out. And without further ado, we're gonna jump right into the field. You ready? Let's go. What's going on, guys? And welcome back. We are in the city right now. We're walking, got the phone out, got my buddies right there, Hillmann and the girlfriend, just like last time. And as you can see, show them what you're working with.
It's a camera, guys.
A nice little neat piece of equipment. I'm just out here with my phone, so it doesn't look as professional. The focal range is pretty close, so my arm is like all the way extended right now. It's not as low-key, but today we want to talk about a couple of things, all of which relate to phone versus camera. While Hillmann is doing his thing with the camera, I'm gonna be doing good things with my phone. We're gonna stop here and there to share a little bit of a difference, some experience that we made. It's low light, so this is also an extra challenge. What's gonna be better, phone or camera? What do you think? People are gonna be watching, but we don't care.
What are they doing? What did you just
Yo, it's gonna be hilarious. So hey, stay tuned. In a bit, we're gonna start with the first topic, which is gonna be pricing. So how expensive is a vlogging kit like that? Yeah, I was about to say, that is exactly why we're going to talk about that. Alright guys, so first off, a little nice Christmas tree behind me. If you're looking for a phone with a good camera, right now we're in 2020. This, what you're seeing right now, is 30 frames per second, 4K on the OnePlus 8 Pro. Costs around 800 to 900 euros, depending on what kind of RAM you get, what kind of storage you get, right? The iPhone 12 just came out, but that's an additional 400 bucks that you trying to spend. Let's say you get the phone that I'm recording with right now, right? You spend 800 euros, and if you want to get a case, that's like 20 euros. That's it. You don't need anything else. This is what you get out the box. No calibration, no extra equipment. What about the camera? Now, if you want to get the camera that my boy Hillmann is vlogging right now, it's an entry-level camera, right? Entry-level camera. You can define that however you want. The Sony a6400. The body alone, 850 euros. Then you're looking at lenses. And lenses, boy, you can spend all your savings on lenses if you want. The kit lens that comes with it costs around 100 to 150. So if you buy both of them in a package, maybe you get like 50 euros off. You're looking at like 900, 950, and that is without a mic. Right? Get like a 30-40 euro external mic, your audio is going to be way better. You might want to get an ND filter if you're doing video a lot and you're shooting in bright lights. An ND filter is almost a must. ND filters, you can go up to 200, 300 euros if you want to get a variable one. You have to worry about all those things. You have to research all about all those things. Yeah, so you're looking at, let's say, a good 1,000 for a camera, or just to start off making any type of video, really. Whereas you have the phone, you spend like 800, 900 euros. You get this, and you're set. Don't have to worry about anything. Make phone calls, use WhatsApp, use Instagram, whatever you want. all-in-one package, but you decide for yourself. Yeah, so that's it about price. We're gonna talk about 3 or 4 more things, but for now, let's keep moving around so we keep this video interesting and also a little bit dynamic, all right?
You know, it's a learning experience.
I know, that's what I'm telling you, man. Talking about learning experiences though. So Hillmann just had 2. One was that there was still an ND filter on there. So the initial footage was a little bit darker than it was supposed to be. I mean, you can even that out with ISO and aperture, but we're already as wide open as we can on the camera. So the only thing you can do is crank up the ISO, which at some point will introduce noise. So knowing that you have an ND filter on there is, you know, quite the thing you have to consider. Second of all, we were shooting some slow-mo before in 60 FPS, so shutter speed changes too, because guess what? Shutter speed is twice your frame rate. So when we were shooting 60 frames per second, we had it in 1/125. Now that we're shooting in 24 frames per second, we have to have it in 150, which we didn't, or he didn't check for it, didn't consider it, didn't have it in his mind. So you know what I'm saying? There's so many things. What mode do I have? If I have it in manual, do I have a minimum and maximum ISO set? Because this man sure as hell did it. But yeah, like all those settings you have to learn about, you have to educate yourself about this. You have to kind of get into the matter, you know what I mean? Whereas with the phone, now everything is in auto, right? Auto ISO, auto aperture, auto shutter speed. Is it perfect for everything? No. But like for things like this, pretty convenient, man. Another thing about convenience, which might go both ways depending on which type of person you are, is focal length. You might want to consider different lenses. Now, when you get to different lenses, you want to consider focal length, aperture, autofocus, or manual focus. If you go with a phone, you're a little bit more limited. You cannot just buy another lens and slap another focal length on it. You can't change the aperture if you want to go more shallow, or if you want like a faster lens, you can't do it. I mean, that's one less thing to worry about, right? On the phone, but it's also one less convenient thing. You just cannot change it on the fly. You have to do with what the phone comes. Whereas at the camera, if you save up, you get yourself a nice set of lenses. You can shoot whatever you want, and you always ensure that you get the best quality with the glass that you carry. It's a trade-off, right? And this is what this video is all about. Phone is much more convenient. Camera has higher quality. Does it though? We're gonna talk about that in a bit. We'll find a nice and cozy place again to sit down and kind of talk about that. So I'm going to go into a little bit of a darker place here at the Markt in Maastricht now to kind of show you guys what the front camera of this phone is in low light. And you can see it's not that bad actually, man. Everything is done automatically. I don't have to worry about a thing. I just set a frame rate and the camera does the rest, or the phone does the rest. And that's the beauty about the phone. So I don't want to bash on cameras in any ways. If I would bash on cameras, why the hell would I have gotten myself a camera? But I just want to say that don't underestimate what a phone can do, especially now in 2020. The phones that came out this year, last year, or like a couple years ago, they're so good, right? Like, and they always say story wins. If your content has good story, valuable insights, imagine I would vlog like this every time, right? People would just be content. You know what I mean? Is this the best that I can do? No. Is it enough? More than enough, I would say. So at this part of the edit, I kind of realized that I started rambling a lot about sensors and resolution and dynamic range and codec and bitrate and all those things that might be a little bit too much for now. So just know that the most important takeaway is that not all resolution is created equal. The 4K on the camera is not the same as the 4K on the phone, image quality wise, right? So yes, the resolution, like the pixels, the amount of pixels are the same, but the camera stores a lot more information within its 4K footage rather than a phone does. So what you should remember is that the footage that comes out of the camera, you can do a lot more with it. Because of all this additional information stored within the footage, you can color grade and color correct a lot easier than you can with a phone before it starts falling apart. And I'm gonna have this clip side by side now with my boy Hillmann, just walking with the phone in his one hand, with the camera in his other hand. You can kind of see the differences at night in this difficult shooting environment, lighting wise. Like the phone is really noisy and grainy, whereas the camera stays a lot cleaner. And now imagine you're trying to take that really grainy footage and you try to do stuff with it, right? Like change the colors or pop the saturation or something like that. It will just fall apart because it's already so grainy. So that is one thing you should keep in mind. It's the same thing when you shoot pictures with the camera, right? Because if you shoot RAW versus JPEG, you guys might have heard about that. But you can do so much with this additional information that is stored in the image or in the footage, and you can really get creative with it. And that is the great thing about the camera, right? It gives you so much more flexibility. It is one thing that is really kind of abstract to a lot of people because it's hard to grasp and hard to understand. But I think it's really important when you're trying to make a buying decision, right? So you know what you're getting and you know what you can do with what you're getting, right? So let's get back to it, all right?
Okay guys, so for example, this is a comparison like filming at night with a camera and a phone, and from what I can really see on this thing, the camera does a much better job at night compared to the phone. But I guess when you put it on the computer, we're gonna like compare better. But yeah guys, I'm just literally holding two things on my hands. Like, who does that? I low-key look like a crazy person at this point. But it's no problem, it's no problem. That's what we do to get the best quality we can get. So yeah guys, we'll see how this looks in post-production. Wow.
So we're gonna actually talk about low-keyness now. With the phone, everybody has a phone, right? Everybody's using a phone, so when you use a phone to record yourself, it's not as, I don't know, suspicious or high-key or weird, or people won't look at you weird if you do the same with a camera. Like, you have a whole camera in your hand, you got the mic, you got that cat on the mic, it looks weird, people don't know what it is, what's going on, why else he recording, am I in the shot? Whereas, if you go with the phone, people are just gonna think like, why is he recording himself on the phone? Who is he talking to? Is he on FaceTime? It's much less weird or out of the blue than if you have a whole camera setup walking with you. And now the A6400 is not even that big. You know, a kid used to vlog with this goddamn, I forgot what it was, like this huge camera on like a gorilla pot, like a fat lens, and he didn't care. Like, you shouldn't care, but like, I'm just saying, low-keyness is a thing that you might want to consider when getting a camera. If you're not comfortable with people staring at you, you know what I mean, like this?
The cafe owner was looking at you guys like, these guys are mad. Talking to their phone.
If you have a problem with people staring at you or looking at you weird, then buying a camera might be something that you want to think about, because people are going to look at you. It's so cold and it's so dark, we have to find a bus station to sit down and get some light. So Hillmann, you've been shooting with the Sony A6400 now for this evening. How is the user experience like?
I think it's just, if you have in mind that the product is going to be better, it kind of helps you go through the whole process of like learning the new things you have to learn with regards to the camera. But like just holding it is not that comfortable. You have to like switch back and forth if you don't have a tripod or a gimbal or whatever that like facilitates the turning for you. But that was not convenient, just the switching, getting B-roll and then coming back to you and all these kind of things. But this one has a flip screen so you can like see yourself, which is good. The other camera I used one time to make a video of myself did not have, so I was still in the blind, right?
Which was good, right? Because in the beginning, you didn't use the flip screen.
Exactly, exactly. And I made like a shit ton of errors already, right? Because I didn't know the, what is it again, the shutter speed.
Exactly.
I had the wrong one on. I had the ND filter on. I was not supposed to have it on. All these errors and stuff, it's a learning process, right? So you make errors, you learn, you get better.
No, it's definitely a learning process, and once you learn, it's actually a lot of fun, I think.
Yeah. When you finally get the hang of it, it's fun.
Exactly. Also, what's nice though is that even though it might be a little bit harder to use it, in the end, the final product is so high quality that can color grade it.
Yeah, I guess
right?
you can switch a lot of things.
Yeah,
there,
much
so
more
that
than you
makes-
can do a phone footage.
But the thing is, it depends on how much time you have as well for editing.
That's
you know,
right. And
'cause-
how good you are with color grading.
Exactly.
That's another thing,
Amongst
right?
other things, color grading is just
Exactly.
one of them, right? Because
Yeah.
for example, I have a lot of stuff doing on the side, so I don't really have that much time to invest in editing. So like for me, it's obviously easier to just like get footage from the iPhone, which is like already ready for exporting, and then you can just like put them together, put soundtracks on there, and you're good.
Also, if you get the camera and you take pictures, you gotta learn how to edit pictures if you want to shoot in RAW and get the most out of your pictures. Boy,
I'm not trying to scare anyone, but this is not easy. Don't try. You're not ready. Jokes. It's fun, so I guess that should count for something.
it is fun. I think for me the gardening experience thus far was super fun. That's why I got a camera, right?
Yeah, let's keep moving. It's getting cold.
Exactly. We're gonna feel like I'm freezing here, so
Let's get warm.
yeah. Let's make our way back to the crib. Get a little bit warmer.
I'm breaking off.
Okay, here you have it. My own little vlog. Because they keep wanting to have me in the video. So I give up. I don't know if you can even hear me with this mask thingy on. But yes. Out.